Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Chrono Trigger. So, Chrono Trigger, made originally by Square, probably one of the most well-beloved, renowned, known turn-based RPGs on the planet. Akira Toriyama doing a lot of the art for it. There's always been a question of, like, when are we going to see a Chrono Trigger remake? And we still haven't had one. We've seen Chrono Trigger get ported. It's available on plenty of platforms, which is great and fantastic. It's on PC, it's on your phone, it's on the Switch, it's on everything, which is good. That's great. And I think that that is a fantastic thing. But the question is, like, should we remake Chrono Trigger? And if so, what should it look like? Okay? And that last part is the very important question. So I say recently, it was years ago now, they recently released Dragon Quest XI, which Dragon Quest is a franchise. I didn't get a picture up for this. Dragon Quest XI as a franchise also uses a lot of Akira Toriyama's art style, okay? Like, you look at this and you're like, this just looks like a scene from frickin' Dragon Ball Z, right? Like, if Dragon Ball Z was a game, it might look a little something, like, I say that, and there's lots of DBZ games. Not the point, okay? And it has a turn-based style of gameplay. This picture doesn't want to load because, of course, because I didn't prep this ahead of time, the game's angry at me and wants me to suffer. But anyway, oh yes, I love 300p images. So yeah, it is a very similar vein. And when we were playing through it, I was like, you know, it would be kind of cool to see Dragon Quest get remade like this, because you could literally just use, like, this is already a very beautiful art style. It's got a good engine. It looks nice, right? You could remake Chrono Trigger in this and it'd probably be a pretty fantastic experience. But something that came out recently was this video, and I'm going to play it for you now while we talk. So SquareEnix has been doing this HD-2D, and that's exactly what you're looking at now. Now, HD-2D is trademarked. I think the very first time we saw it was in the first Octopath Traveler game. And we have seen them now do HD-2D for some of their other games, including some remakes, such as Live Alive. Octopath Traveler 2 also uses HD-2D. Triangle Strategy uses HD-2D. Sorry, that game's name is atrocious, so my brain just kind of... And then the Yukeiden Rising game that I believe is coming, that's supposed to be kind of like a Suikoden successor, is also going to be using an HD-2D style. And this is a fan creation, okay? So I don't know if I made that clear. This is not a real product. This is not Chrono Trigger being remade. This is somebody that is very, very talented that made Chrono Trigger's opening scene, opening area in an HD 2D environment. As, like, this is what Chrono Trigger would look like if it was made in HD 2D. Now, let me show you what Chrono Trigger looks like, just in case you have not seen it. So this is what Chrono Trigger looks like at base. This is Chrono Trigger the game, and then if we go back in here and go back to where the actual things are, this is, relatively speaking, what it would look like in HD 2D. These aren't a one-for-one comparison because the camera angle is a little bit different, but you do see your, you know, kind of swirled around tents and stuff like that. It's the same location, just one is in HD 2D and the other one is actually from the game. Now, this is not real. This is not a product. This isn't a demo that you can download. This is just them showing off what that would look like. And I saw this, and I do think that this looks great. For a fan creation, fantastic job, right? My understanding, at least from the developers at SquareEnix talking, HD 2D, while it looks really cool, is actually very difficult to do and pull off well. And there's some spots when I looked at this that I feel like it kind of breaks a little bit depending on how things are placed and rendered. But in a general sense, I think it looks really good. They did a fantastic job. And here's the question, though, is that in the comments to this video, there is just slews and slews and slews of people that are like, if they ever remake Chrono Trigger, this is exactly how they need to do it. And there is the question of this video. Is this how they should remake Chrono Trigger? Because my initial thought is no. And it's not because I don't think it looks nice or anything like that. This obviously looks fantastic. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful way to represent the game. But here's the thing. Fundamentally, this is not actually any different from this. It is this made today, but otherwise, they are exactly the same. So, like, is that a remake? Like, yeah, sure, it is. You have definitely remade the game, but the game's not going to be any different, right? And, you know, some people don't want the game to be different. And if you had this that functioned exactly the same way, but looked like this, I feel like then you're getting into a space where it is a legitimately different feeling experience. It could be the exact same story beats, same combat, same gameplay, same enemies, everything. But if it looks like this, instead of looking like this, that will completely, at its core, fundamentally change the way the game looks and feels. I don't feel like going from flat 2D sprites to HD 2D sprites will fundamentally change the way the game feels. It is the exact same. It's just sprites. They're just standing up instead of laying down, right? I would love a full remake like how Square did for Final Fantasy. It deserves that. And I'm sure there's lots of people that would hate that. I mean, lots of people hated Final Fantasy VII Remake. And, like, I understand why. But at the same time, like, if you just wanted to play the exact same game, the original game is still there. Now, I understand that Final Fantasy VII OG, it has not aged well. It doesn't age as well as OG Chrono Trigger does because the timelessness of the 2D sprite work, it works. It holds up well as long as Square Enix isn't doing their weird pixel blending thing that they like to do with all the Final Fantasy games before they did the pixel remasters. It holds up really well, and it holds up even as you blow it up. I mean, obviously, you have to upscale the sprites so that they have just more pixels so they can be displayed, but you can do that pretty generatively. You don't actually have to do a whole lot of your own, like, actual creation work of it. Whereas this would largely require you to do all of the work involved with it. Like, you would genuinely just be remaking the game one for one off of a template. But this would be such a different experience, even if it played and worked exactly the same. It's a good point, though. I think I would want to be surprised with the actions and stories. I don't think that the story would surprise you. I mean, if you hadn't played Chrono Trigger, which I know that you said earlier, VW, that you haven't. So, I mean, it would be a new experience for you no matter what. But for people that are looking for a remake of Chrono Trigger, like, why is it that you would want this HD 2D if it is functionally the same game? I don't know. Like, would it look nice? Yes. Would it play great? Probably. Chrono Trigger's fantastic. But does this deliver an experience that you're, let's be honest, willing to pay $60 for? Because if it looks like this, because if the developers aren't bullshitting us and it is a chore to develop HD 2D in this way, to make this look like this, like, they're going to charge you $60 for it. I do not see a world where no matter how they do it, if they put the words Chrono Trigger Remake on a box, it's probably $70 actually, because it's Square Enix, okay? Hell, it might be $80 because of the Square Enix tax. But that's a nostalgia purchase. No way I'm paying $60. And there are people that absolutely would, and all power to them. Like, if you got the exact product you wanted, I'm happy for you. But as I've said, I don't feel like this is doing enough for the project. I feel like this is largely just delivering you the exact same product in a very slightly different package. And I know there's a lot of people that will disagree with me, and I completely understand the reasons that you will likely share as to your disagreement, of that if you don't do it in this way, you might as well not do it, because no matter what, you're going to be delivering a product that can't live up to the original. And I mean, it's Square Enix, y'all. They would manage to somehow fuck this up because it's Square Enix. They'd be like, yeah, we're just going to one-for-one the game, but HD 2D. And then they'd be like, oh, yeah, and we put this in because we thought it'd be a good idea. And it's like, oh, why would you do that, Square Enix? You were so close. I still would love to see a version of Chrono Trigger developed in Unreal Engine that utilizes the assets and world design that they used for Dragon Quest XI. Maybe Dragon Quest XII, but who knows what that game looks like, because they announced it like 2 years ago and we still only have a fucking logo. But yeah, maybe instead in whatever art style and direction you take Dragon Quest XII, but at very least Dragon Quest XI. I do not think that if we get a Chrono Trigger remake that it needs to be in HD 2D. But let me know what your thoughts and feelings are, because if you clicked on this video and you watched up to this point, you either already typed the comment or you definitely have something that you would probably like to share. So let us know. Put it down in the comments below. If you'd prefer to yell at me on social media, one, you're quite welcome to. Two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter, if Twitter's still called Twitter. Otherwise, I am also on Threads and Blue Sky. So just pick your poison and throw your vitriol at me. I totally understand, because there are projects that I would love to see that aren't happening, or that will probably happen in not the way that I would like. But let me know all the same. And this video was recorded live on stream, and if you'd like to be there, we do stream on Twitch. I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel to go watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.